There was a lot going on. I had, my parents, mother was working 2, 3 jobs. My dad was working all throughout the day. When he got home, he was tired, he was beat, and he ready for bed. And so with that going on every day, I usually spent most weeks and weekends at my grandparents, and that's where I really learned to be myself, with all my morals and just how I carry myself from day to day. And they've just done so much for me, and I just want to show how much I appreciate them by not only spending my time with them for the draft, but putting everything out there on the field and off the field, and showing what kind of man they've raised and being somebody that people can look up to. It was crazy competitive. I mean, it even went to my cousins, and they weren't as athletic, but it was whatever we were doing. It was from cars to video games we had this little J-rigged hoop out in the front of my grand's house, and we try to get the cars moved, and we played for a couple hours, or we throw the ball in the front. We had this big old tree, so you have to shake him, and you have to make sure you avoid the tree. And we played curveball, but everything we played, it was love, but everybody had to win. Nobody's there's no mercy. There's no animosity in between anybody, but everybody's out for that W. Nobody's trying to lose or be any inferior to anybody else. I tried baseball, but just wasn't for me, because batting average of like 250, that means you got to miss 3 times. 3 times out of 4, you're not hitting the ball, and that's supposed to be a decent percentage. And me, that's just different. At least in football, I might not get a sack every play, but I might affect the play every time I step on the field. Every time I come off the ball, I'm disruptive. I'm making moves. I'm chipping away at them. I played basketball, and I loved that. That was my first passion, as in sports. And I had boxing, and that's another that I always watch. Whenever it's on at night or whenever I can catch it, I'm looking at it. If I can find it on YouTube, just old videos and just all-time greats going through those wars, those battles, and coming out and still having the respect for each other and no love lost. That's what football is to me. It's a war, but at the end of it, we're still brothers. We all came from the same family, same situation. So let's just keep on grinding together and hope to move on to a better life. YMCA, that's where I started. And moved up, I wanted to play against better competition, so we started AAU. And it was rough at first, I had my brother, but he was so much older that he was focused on his own things. He was, coming up in high school, McDonald's All-American, so he had to focus on getting better himself. And we lived in separate households for a while, so I'm just with my dad, and he's at work, so I'm just trying to practice in the front yard, thinking about moves, thinking about shots, how I could create space and all the things that go into being a good basketball player, just like angles, and that's all going through my mind. I'm trying to practice that in the yard, and when I can, I'm trying to go against my brother Sean and see how I can match up against him, because if I match up well against him, I can go against anybody. Around 12 or 13, I was, before that, I didn't really have any weights. I wasn't really thinking about, sports as in, this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. It's just like something I love doing, but it didn't click until about then that this is something I want to do until I can't. And I went from, doing, I guess, not calf raises, but lifting the bed with my heels, trying to work on my calves, to pushing up with my arms, trying to work on my chest and my shoulders, to using dumbbells, using a bench at the school, to going up to a place called Cliff Nelson, working out with my brother and my best friend, and just trying to be physically superior than anybody else. Because if I'm ahead in that, then all I got to do is keep the technique as well, and I'm already light years ahead of everybody else at this age.